There's a lot more cars sitting in garages, unbuilt, unfinished, not running, than there are at the car shows. The thing is you don't need expensive tools and fancy laser welders and plasma cutters. I mean, they're great, don't get me wrong. They speed up the process, and if you're someone that's producing a volume, that's what you need. But if you're just somebody trying to get your car back on the road, stop spending so much money on extra tools that aren't going to get the job done for you. The most important tool is motivation. Motivation, drive, determination. Those are the things you can't buy with money. That's what it really takes. And I know a lot of it isn't necessarily determination, it's fear. It's fear of digging into your car and making it harder to repair what's already there, making the wrong decision, making the wrong cut. And it really doesn't matter like that, because if you think about it, the car doesn't really get to pick where it rusts. You just have to fix it. So if your cut gets off and you make a piece wrong, throw it out, start over, cut it back a little bit more, get it to a different spot. Don't be afraid to make the cut, because all of these projects have to look worse before they get better. They don't just get better, they get worse, and then they get better. Start small. When you're taking apart a car like I've done to that Skylark, that 72, and replacing both rear quarter panels, the trunk hinge panel, and all those different things, if I had removed all those parts off of that car and not braced it properly, the body could shift all over the more you remove from it and the weaker that it gets. In only taking on one panel at a time, I didn't brace anything, and I was able to disassemble the car and use the points, the old trunk lid and the old deck hinge panel. I used those points as reference points to bring my new parts to. Had I removed those old parts, I wouldn't have those reference points. A lot of times people will know how to remove the rust, and they'll go to a car and they'll say, I'll do all the prep work first and I'll get it ready for the body shop. But actually you've created a nightmare for the body shop or yourself possibly, because if you're the guy that puts it back together, you don't know where anything goes. Yeah, you got all the rust off, but you don't have any reference points now. So I've always done it a little at a time. I'll do one quarter panel, weld the new quarter panel in, and then I'll go to the other side, remove the quarter panel, weld the new quarter panel in. You'll dig into a car and you'll be gung-ho, and then all of a sudden somebody will have a baby or life comes up, whatever it is, and then your project has to sit. And unfortunately, if you have your parts in bare steel like this, when they sit, they get rusty. You got to start over again. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll paint a part when I'm finished with it. Instead of painting the whole car, I'll paint just the part. It gets a little bit more pricey, but when it comes to your work and doing things 2 and 3 times, to me, it's cheaper to put a paint job on a part and to store it versus bringing it to primer and then 2 years down the road finding out that the primer didn't 100% seal the metal to the point where it has to be restripped again. Now you have to start over. Sometimes it's worth, if you're gonna be having big gaps and spans in between your completion and the starting of a project, to get some paint on some stuff. It also gives you a little idea what your parts look like. After you're done doing all that work, you get a little bit of shiny paint on there. You can really start to see if there's any flaws left. See if there's anything you can't live with. I hope this helped you. Make sure you subscribe. I got a lot more videos coming up on the sandalwood car, and I got something even hotter right after it. Oh my God, this car's one of 33.